This is a test. There are a couple of quirks about this. I might as well just show them. So, this is where I've had to set the audio so that it's not blaringly loud. I haven't tried to play this game in a long time, so I'm not sure where I actually want all of the settings. But there's a quirk with the screen resolution that you can kind of already see a hint there. Let's do this. If I try to play this game full screen and set it to 1920 by 1080, the actual proper resolution for my monitor, the game will either crash to desktop or freeze. If I don't have it, if I have it windowed and don't have it maximized, it will do this properly. If I have it maximized, it forces it back down to the minimum. So, if I want to change anything else, I have to do that, so that if I wanted to tweak these, for example, because when I had this in a smaller window size so that I could see OBS and see where the volumes were, then I went back to this, but yeah. So we're going to be fine with that. So this game, OBS will not capture, or will not let OBS capture it for whatever reason. And I'm not going to try it full screen, because when full screen games freeze, they tend to lock things up, and I have to exit out of Windows to fix it. And I don't want to. That's a Bethesda bullshit kind of thing that I definitely don't want to have to deal with. From anyone, including Bethesda. So there are some quirks in that. I'm having to do a desktop capture and crop the taskbar and the top of the window for the game off. And I know that the game resolution fussiness is part of why I uninstalled it ages ago. Now, I have this game on disc. I've owned this game for a while. I never played a whole lot of it, but something I did do, and something I'm going to do today, is I'm going to open up this specifically because of this. Because it means that whatever test build of a character I want to do, it will give me a bunch of levels and just let me go through that one level at a time and figure out how I want to go about it, or test other ideas. Now, I've done the beginning of the official campaign a few times ages back, but I do remember a couple of particular things about stuff I would want to have access to early on and then probably not need again later. Um, Now I have also already cleared out all the pre-made characters, um, so we get to build one from scratch. And as much as I want to make use of one of the good, as in, um, with better stuff, um, races, level adjustments are a problem. In the long run, no, but the beginning of the game, they fuck you over in a way that matters. So, as much as I don't want to, unless I cheat, and sure, I can get around the problem they create by cheating, giving myself the skills to do the things. Um, because um, a level adjustment, the way that's done in this is essentially you lose the first 1 or 2 or 3 levels. You just don't get them. So a race, a regular elf, not a drow, but a regular, any other flavor of elf, um, I get to a point, I can be level 2, I can make use of, I can add skills that I didn't have at the start, and I can have access to um, stuff in the beginning of the game that I don't get access to again. There are there's one building I don't know if I ever get into again, and one building I know I don't get to get into again. But definitely not in a timely fashion. And I need to be able to pick locks on a locked chest, and I think at least one of them is trapped, so I need to be able to disable traps as well. And it needs to be on the main character because you don't have anyone else that can do it, and you also don't get to come back to at least one, if not both. So I know I need to do those. Um, um, there's actually I can show it with you. You have the stat bonuses. I'm just gonna skip through. Let's be a bard, just for consistency. Not that one. I hate point buy. This one is less nerfed than others, but it's still point buy. Having +2 to the stats I care more about means I can get up to 16 before I'm having to spend extra instead of 14. But no one that is without a level adjustment has a bonus to charisma, which is what matters most for a bard. Um, I don't want to pay the extra, so we're going to do that. But yeah, that means if you have stat bonuses, you can get farther with the point by points, which was the point of showing you specifically. But yeah, none of the base races give a bonus to charisma. Um, I, humans are boring. Humans are boring, but fuck it. And since you're just a tester, I'm not going to bother with customizing how you look. Um, and of course, they force you to spend the points because the minimum you need is that. But yeah, now I'm stuck with 14s across the board, or 14s or less. No, there. Um, because I don't want to pay the extra. Now, I can cheat my stats as well, but we're just going to go with that and go here. I remember some things offhand. Like, there are some things that are just not as useful as they would seem to be, so they're a waste of points. Any cross-class skill right now costs 2. And this is a big kicker in that not being able to make another level. Unless I'm willing to cheat. Or especially if I'm not willing to cheat. Right now I'm just gonna put points into things that I will want or need points in. I can't do you at all without having a point in you, so I will do that. Yeah. For every 10 ranks, AC is also improved by 1, means this ends up being something worth putting points into going forward. Spellcraft on its own, also gains a +1 for every 5 ranks to all saves against spells. Not so bad. Um, and you're allowed to hold on to points, but only up to 5. So, now, because we're human, we can start with 2 of these. The one that I'll go with regardless is going to be this. I'm not putting a single point into the more expensive ones until they're no longer more expensive. Which is why being able to make a level before I need any of those skills I don't start with matters. I didn't want you to do that. Background traits you can only take at first level. And normally I don't. And if I'm a race where I only get one. I've already taken it. But this seems like a nice thing to have on top of that. So I'm going to do that. The other thing I might do, honestly, is take dodge so I can, because it's required for mobility, which also helps with resisting attacks of opportunity. So, and you have shit for eyes, so I guess I could give you that. Not that most of these really fucking matter. None of that. Good enough. This. Level up manually. This is the whole point of starting with this is, okay, well, I've got this, but how would I build towards a prestige class? I want to think about and plan out how to work towards something, or well, actually, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted cancel, because I wanted this screen, but it wouldn't let me just back up to this screen. You have the regular classes, but then you get into prestige classes. Some of these we would have to take a bunch of classes to work towards. Bard can actually work towards this in a timely fashion. I've never really done it. That's my stats. But if I'm curious about what this would look like, I can also do it without fucking up a whole bunch of gameplay just to find out whether or not it's something I even like how it ends up building. Because I don't know. But in this, I can play test without actually play testing whether or not that's something I might want. But right now, we're going to stay with what we are. We're going to move things up. Those two skills. Most of you are lower priority, not because I won't. Actually, you're a talkie skill. I think I maybe want to get you to 5 and then 10 eventually. I wouldn't need you right away. I might want you later. But yeah, the thing I need my main character to be able to do to have access to them at all is both of those. But I don't want to pay double for them. get another level before I have to do that. And I know one of the earlier characters I find is a rogue. But we'll do that just in case. Oops, I missed that one. In case I need to do those, or in case I want or need to do those before I actually have a rogue. But I probably don't need them past that point, because I'll have someone else whose job that is. Mobility, yes. Yeah. Better avoid attacks of opportunity. Now, after this one, I'll be able to take that prestige class and see what I think of it. No, I should be adding to that as well, just in case. Oh, god damn it. Scroll down. Yeah. Because of how many levels we get to make, we can actually get all the way through this. And it's not showing. The thing I would want that I would have if there were books in front of me, but these are modified from the books anyway, is the table that shows how much of my spell casting is advancing while I'm in it. It's giving me a summary of everything but the table I would want to look at. Um, yeah, it'll help with my fortitude saves and not with my reflex. That's fine though. I get fewer skill points. And class skills. Because this is leaning into other things. I can still advance the things that were class skills. Right, I wanted to get you to 5. Why is that now inaccessible? Honestly, that's a weird decision, cutting off performance entirely. And, right, I have so many fewer points that I can't really do a whole lot about it anyway. Sure. I would have to look at how different my stats will end up to see if I would end up wanting or needing that. Yeah, no. I don't care about you. I should care about you. Even if this is going to pull focus away from spellcasting somewhat. But I want to follow this and see where it ends up. Yeah, I get so few fucking points. But I'm only getting those to 10 anyway. I don't know why that's locked out. That's just stupid. But do that. Yeah, see, now those are tied, and weapon finesse wouldn't matter. Um, should that go up more? Probably. I'm gonna get that for free. Oh. Fuck attacks of opportunity. if the theme there wasn't obvious. Yep, now you're stronger than you are fast. But I distributed the way I did because points. So, and I started with no bonuses, so that could still look different if I weren't human. Yeah, and now I have blind fight. Okay. I will eventually get a +2 to my charisma. But I get a lot of strength. Ability used once per day. Sure. Oh, yeah, I don't need to deal with those. But my spellcasting hasn't advanced at all. Or something I'm keeping an eye out for. Fuck it. Yeah. The main use of you is for everything but the +1 to saves against spells. You're kind of okay where you are. You, DCs for you, keep going up. So, sure. My attack bonus is at the point where I see you now. I don't have a use for you now. Honestly, it's kind of high level to be getting around to thinking about you, but that's fine, honestly. It would be a little late to be getting around to this. because of how you were set up, even though you don't have weapon focus. No. Even though you don't have weapon finesse. I don't think I care that much. I mean, maybe. Proved critical. Now, improved critical on something that already has a broader critical range is really the perk there. Because an 18 to 20 becomes a 15 to 20. If it were 3 numbers, it's now 6. So you getting bonuses to strength means I would be put in a position where I might want to be using that. Would I want to do that first or focus? If I'm gonna do it at all. Which, don't know. 'Tis but a test. You get to keep going up. Now, while I'm playing, I'll actually find out whether or not I want or need to dump more points into some of these. Get the other talky ones up to 10, I guess. Or work towards it. No. Okay. Get a bunch of stuff there, which is nice. Well, I still don't want any of those. That, because I haven't been advancing in my spellcasting, could help. Not looking at any of those. So, either you or you. you are maxed out, but you've also, I've got access to other stuff because, oh, that's what unlocked that. You were just a matter of levels. I'm not doing another prestige class. That one is complete. So we're going to go back to this. Take that. Um, you are behind, but I can fix that. All at once. Um, sure. And at that point, I really don't know what I would want or need more of. And we get 18 levels, minus any level adjustments. So you and you get to go up more. At this point, I'm just putting points in things I might end up having discovered that I wanted or needed more points in. Because I don't know beyond a certain point what I do and don't have how much use for. I mean, honestly, I don't know how good the merchants get at appraise, so I don't know how high I want or need that to be to have good odds of doing well. Concentration arguably should be a bottomless supply of points because it depends on how hard I get hit when I'm trying to cast. So anything that's an opposed skill check rather than a fixed DC could arguably just keep going forever. My class stuff is based on how well I do at this, or how well I can do at this, with certain things being at particular thresholds. I don't know how high this actually needs to get. Because I don't have a frame of reference for how difficult that roll gets. Also, I can actually just identify, um, which they've turned into a bonus to the check. Um, if I remember the description they have of the spell correctly. Either way. Um, well, if I'm gonna lean into that, that's an option. Right, there is still that. Um, you. Of course, being that far behind on spells, I'll probably have a caster that can already do them. Not that I won't want additional options, but this, sitting here and doing this, um, I find to be particularly useful because, well, because I want to know how that pans out, and there are things that have prerequisites in figuring out how that times out, and if I want to change the order of how I go about things to get things sooner versus can I wait for that versus, yeah. But, yeah, this um, is clearly a D&D game. Um, I didn't actually play the original Neverwinter Nights, so it's not a setting I know. Um, I didn't really play D&D games in specific settings, um, so I don't really know any of them, to be fair. But I didn't play the original game, so I don't know what this is building off of, even if I had basic familiarity with the setting. It's a D&D game, and I know D&D. I don't know 5th Ed particularly, and 4th Ed was calculus, and that does not exist. So there are some quirks in recording it, which are not ideal, um, but they're not that hard to work around. Um, so it could be worse. I don't. Dealing with trying to adjust these when these are big jumps, I have to manually slide. Um, and not having good opportunity to hear the variety of those means I'm going to have to probably tweak those additionally. But playing this is technically an option. One where, other than the early part of the game, and no, I wouldn't do this scenario, I'd start at the beginning. I don't, I didn't get, I have played some of it. I don't know how far into it I got ever. I have done the beginning enough to remember most of what I want or need to do there. remember that I need to be able to use those skills, um, or I lose or I just can't get the stuff that's in them ever. Um, and I do remember how to cheat. I mean, hitting the tilde to get into a console isn't that hard. And then, like most consoles, it'll even give you, um, it'll tell you what the commands are. So, changing my stats is totally doable, so I could get, all the skill points, not worry about it in that regard. Now, I do have to wait until after I've made my first level. Or, no, until after I've made my character. I don't have to have leveled. But I can't adjust stats while I'm in character creation. So, if I don't have it then adding it after the fact via console is possible. But again, trying to think about how I would want or need to build my character to do the things without cheating. And then, if that's not enough, go from there. But I don't really have much to say about the game itself because, again, I haven't played enough of it to talk about the plot. It's a fucking D&D game. If that isn't a good enough explanation of whatever the fuck might end up going on here, and I don't actually remember, there are ways to change how each of the modes work, but I don't actually remember how I want those to work. So there will be some fussing with controls as I go through, if I go through. But I wanted to just sit and go through that process because it's a simple enough way for me to get back into looking at and thinking about the game and show at least some of how it works. Without actually wading into it. So, maybe.